Now let's start the show. Boom, 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 boom. You see that? That was common. Yeah, you look broken. It's your boy Sean Q, my partner who looks drained like always.
Jay Roman.
Together we are OSP, and right now, I mean, I can't. Why
Flashing
are you
lights.
drained, man? Why are you drained?
Why else, man? It is right now 7:29. I'm gonna call out our time on November 5th p.m. and we do not know who the next president is or
Biden.
who might be staying the president.
Biden. We
We
don't. Right
think we,
now,
we, we, we think that we have the possibilities, but you know what? The electoral college, man, I don't trust them, and I haven't trusted them for a long time. So I don't
so
even know what
as
to
we're
go. What to
recording,
say?
votes are being counted. It's the process, and I set this from jump. Once the votes are counted, whoever lost is going to ask for a recount. That's going to take another fucking week or 2 weeks. And it's going to be
Yep.
like, well, he fucking cheated. He fucking cheated. We're
Now,
going to
my
deal
thing
with
is
that.
like, doesn't anyone remember 20 years ago? This happened 20 years ago, 22 years ago to be exact. Like, come on, this is
So
not unprecedented.
I don't know if you've seen the video circulating of Bernie Sanders on Jimmy Fallon. Bernie Sanders was on the Jimmy Fallon show earlier this year, and
Okay.
he called out like verbatim of what's happening, what's about to happen. He
Mm.
said, "Here's what's going to happen in states like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. These states that are like generally like he's like, here's what happens. Statistically, Democrats vote by mail. Statistically, Republicans vote on election day." He goes,
Mm-hmm,
so
mm-hmm.
here's what's gonna happen. On election day, he said this, I'm not bullshitting. He goes, around 10 o'clock at night, the Republican votes are gonna be put in, and Donald Trump's gonna come out. He's gonna say, hey, I won. Thank you guys, I'm reelected. Everybody go home, have a good night. And then the next day and the next days following, they're gonna count all those mail-in votes, and then it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be all those Democratic votes, and then Donald Trump's gonna be like, see, it's fraudulent. I told you, it's a scam. He was like, this is gonna happen. And Bernie Sanders caught this months
Mm-hmm.
ago. You should check it out.
Yeah.
It's a pretty dope video. And everybody's like, oh shit, that's word for word.
Yep.
Exactly what's happening. It's crazy. He
Yep.
called it. And it's what's happening. But
Very smart man.
we're not trying to talk about all that right now. So this is the thing that I've learned.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
A little bit. Here's what happened. I'm behind the bar. I'm working, and I hear this lady. She comes in on election day, and it's a regular, and she's like, I'm stressed out. I'm like, why are you stressed out? She was like, it's election day, and I'm just stressed out. I got anxiety. I'm like, listen, calm down. First of all, nothing's gonna change. Second of all, you stressing something that you have no control over makes no sense. Calm down. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Relax. Just breathe. You'll be fine. It's okay. She's like,
or I just watched Karate Kid 2.
oh dear God. Is it breaking the ice? You gotta watch Cobra Trash. Uh,
Oh, watch out.
so yeah, I'm like, look, dude, calm down. You'll be fine. It's nothing to stress about. But this is what I've learned. A lot of people, we told people in our last episode, listen to us when you're in line waiting to vote or doing whatever. I've learned music is a cure for a lot of fucking problems. And so we're gonna get into music and how it's affecting this election, mainly rappers, because we've heard a few things about certain rappers, and we had an idea. Our original concept for this show was to talk about Rolling Stone just redid their top 500 albums of all time. Now, we are definitely going to jump into that shit, but they had to redo their list of top 500 albums of all time. Jay Roman, before I even get into why they had to redo it, I want to do
Well,
go ahead, go ahead.
when you say redo, do you mean because there's since the last time they did, there's been thousands of albums. So
The
I'm
last
not
time
sure
they did
about
was
redoing versus adding and deleting because one took a place of another.
yeah. So you know what? We're gonna circle back
Okay,
because
okay.
I gotta do something really important right now. We got to get into what's popping real quick.
Oh.
Here's what's popping. If you were like me and you're a gamer and you play NBA 2K, NBA 2K21 has been out. The next gen consoles, we've been talking about PlayStation's coming out. PS5 is coming out, and Xbox Series X and Series S are coming out. So I
Ridiculous.
know it's fucking stupid. So
Hey! Don't forget Atari.
yeah, nobody cares. So NBA 2K on their next gen is about to make history. And what they're doing is, if you've ever played an NBA 2K series in the last, I want to say 8 years, maybe 10, they have this My Player mode where you create a player. They have a full-on story where they have full-on actors wear mocap suits. They've had Idris Elba. They've had a bunch of celebrities come on. There's a full story mode. And then you take your my player and you can play against anybody in the world, whoever's playing online at that time. It's real dope. So for the first time ever, NBA 2K21 on the next gen console is doing what they call the W. And it is the WNBA. And you can create a female character and you can go through a full story mode, career mode with the female into the WNBA. And then they created a 3-on-3 park dedicated just to the women, which is dope as shit to me.
Wow.
I love it. I think it's dope. It's a full-on story mode for women if you want to create a WNBA player. I love the incorporation of it. I think it's dope. Candace Parker does the trailer for it. I think it's dope. Shout out to 2K for just taking that extra step. I like it, and it's pretty dope to me to play with a female character. You create her, you go through the whole story mode, and you play with her in the My Career. And they have it's everything that we're doing with the My Career. You do as a female, and I think it's dope. Shout out to 2K for that. That to me is what's popping. I had to shout them out for that. Back to Rolling Stone. These dudes. So the problem that I had, the Rolling Stone had their top 500 albums for years. It's been out for like years. They just changed it recently. And one of the reasons why they changed it is because their original list and their top 50, there were 12 people of color and 3 women. That's it. So they were saying out of the 50 best albums of all time, 12 people of color counted in there and 3 women. So obviously the list had to be changed. Not only updated, but just changed. And it's not like they went through and they took out a bunch of old albums and put a bunch of new stuff. No, they went back and recognized, okay, this album was dope. This album was dope. We forgot about this one and that one and this one. And this all came about because you originally had an issue with their top 500 albums list. Would you like to elaborate about your issue with their top 500 albums list?
Yeah, a little bit. But my thing is, I only cared about where the rappers were. So as much as I looked at the whole list, I wasn't surprised to see who I saw where, except for the top 50. Because when you say that in the top 50, there's still only 12, I guess you say hip hop acts. And actually, no, 11. Hold on, 1, 2, 3,
There's
4,
11.
11. And then there's one soul act, which is great. I love it. So maybe that's a lot more people of color than before.
There's more
the original list. When you say original list, yeah, you're right. So, but when you say original list, I'm not sure which year original list you're talking about because they put this out every few years. So, I was surprised very, very much to see how high some of the rap albums are compared to others.
Like which
one?
And
I feel like Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Don't get me wrong. Super dope album, which unfortunately I don't really listen to now because I don't know how I feel. We'll get into that later. Dope album, but better than Ready to Die or 36 Chambers? I don't know. Maybe it's a little recency bias, but RZA does produce on that album. So I'm like, oh, there's a little Wu-Tang flair in there. I'll take that. And it also has Jay-Z and has Nicki Minaj, So it's one of those things. So that's one of the things. I do like that Tribe Called Quest is on there, Nas, Jay-Z, all that. But then you have Kendrick to Pimp a Butterfly, which in the Kendrick albums I've heard, which is not all of them. I was late to Kendrick because I was in New York at the time and I was like, I don't know what the hype is about this kid. I'll find out later. To Pimp a Butterfly to me is not his best album. So if that's not his best album, then to me that doesn't belong in that spot on that list. And that's number 19. 19 over 36 Chambers, Ready to Die, Jay-Z's Blueprint, Aquemini? Aquemini got 48. Like, hold on. Aquemini should be a top 10. Granted, I'm opinionated in that because, it's hip-hop. It's one of the best albums. But I remember when Aquemini came out. What is wrong with my thing? Sorry. There you go. When Aquemini came out, it transcended hip-hop music. It was well above what anyone ever expected or ever even imagined a hip-hop album could be. And so more than hip-hop got into it. A lot more, but it's at 48, below Public Enemy, below Kanye West, below Kendrick, below Biggie. And it's like, I don't know about, I don't know. There are a couple really, really cool standouts though. Public Enemy, It Takes a Nation, number 15. I'll take that. I'll take that. One thing that's cool about that, and we didn't. I'm going to get into it right now. Marvin Gaye is number one with What's Going On. So what I feel about those is it's kind of like it's a recency thing, and not because Marvin Gaye or the Public Enemy album are recent, but they are fitting for the time we are in now. That Marvin, What's Going On is classic. All the songs you listen to there, you feel like, wow, this happened then, this happened now. Public Enemy is the same thing. They're telling you the same thing that we learned about then. Plus, they redid some songs recently. So it's kind of, I'm not surprised. I'm happily surprised, but I'm not surprised as well because they're timely. It's kind of like how I feel about the Oscar winner last year for Best Picture, Parasite. It's a very timely movie that hits the right notes at the right time. Is it a great film? Yes. Was it deserving of the number one overall like award? I don't think so compared to the other movies I saw last year. But it was still great. They could have been a tie, but it's just that it hits the spot at just the right time, and I feel like that's how some of the albums do. Lauryn Hill, similar. She got number 10. You know how I feel about that. I don't like that album. Is it classic? Is it classic? Yeah, great. Can we recite all the lyrics? Yeah, great. It's wonderful. But I'm not a big fan of that album, and I remember being highly disappointed when I first heard it. Like, this is what? Oh, okay. Lyrically is almost untouchable. You know, and I know how you feel about that album because it's in your top 5, I think, of all that. But I just don't know. There's a few others. I'm only talking about top 50, top 500. There's a whole bunch of dope shit in there. Like Raekwon is super happy that that Only Built for Cuban Links is like 200 something. I'm like, okay, you know, because we are talking about the top 500 of all time. There are 500 albums a month right now with people who are able to just put out whatever they want, whenever they want. So that's a pretty dope list to be on in any categories. But I don't critique music. I'm not a critiquer or a reviewer, right? Like Eminem hates. I just review what I like, and when I compare hip hop to other hip hop, it's really odd to see what they're comparing it. And I always want to. I really hope, and we're going to be pushing for this because we got to really kind of start once the pandemic's over, man. I want us to get out there. We're going to start trying to find people to really bring in the studio. I want to talk to one of the reviewers for Rolling Stone that reviews these albums. I want to ask him, what is the criteria? What are you looking at judgment-wise? Because then I also want to ask you, because you do music. You have an album. What, when it comes to music, are you listening for in other people's work to maybe say this is ahead of this one? Like, why is Kendrick To Pimp a Butterfly higher than Aquemini? Like, that doesn't even make sense to me.
Okay, so this is what I can say. I ended up reading the whole list, 500 to 1. And a few things I didn't like. One, I didn't like that every 100 songs they had, every 100 albums they had a Rolling Stones album. Every 100 albums.
I didn't notice that trend.
Every 100 albums they had a Beatles album. Like, all right, dude, I get it. We get it. I can say this. If you were to tell me to sit down and write like some of the greatest albums of all time, I would do what we did, where we would say the reason why this album was an honorary mention but didn't make the cut, it's because we went front to back, but that skit or those skits we couldn't really fuck with, we weren't a fan of. So it stopped us, prevented us from listening to the whole album all the way through. That to me would push an album back on the list. You were talking about musicians. This list was made by musicians and critics and reviewers and writers, and it's at the end of the day, it's all subjective. It's all relative. Like it's people's opinions. It's everybody's opinion. We can make our own top 500 right now, and believe it or not, you and I, because outside of like hip hop and a lot of soul music, our music starts to drift at some point. Because I would have a lot of like some Rat Pack on mine. I would have some Duke Ellington on mine. I would have, you know what I mean? Like,
and I would just have like
more hip hop.
Yeah, probably. But
so when I look at a lot of these albums, this list made me want to go listen to certain albums I've never listened to. Like, I know maybe 3 songs from AC/DC's Back in Black, but I've never heard the whole album. For it to be rated as high as it is, it makes me want to go listen to the whole album.
Yeah.
And it's rare to hear whole albums now in the era of singles. I want to go listen to a lot of these albums. I don't know a lot about Joni Mitchell, but Tribe Called Quest talks about it, so I should listen to more Joni Mitchell. You know what I mean? That's how I look at this. But I can say this, in the top 50, like they put in the top 50 for Outkast, you said they have Aquemini there, but from 50 to 100 they have Stankonia.
True.
With
And
Kendrick,
but where's Stankonia compared to the one before Aquemini? AT-Aliens.
AT-Aliens,
That album
right,
is like should be
right.
people's top 10.
And that's what I'm saying. It's different people, but the same way the thing like I disagreed on, like you said with Kendrick Lamar, that album, the fact that they have Damn so much further back, the Pulitzer Prize winning album, by the way, so much further back, and they have Good Kid, Mad City back, and they have To Pimp
Yeah.
Butterfly higher. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
But I wasn't one of the writers on the list. I can say this in the top 50, they got Nas, Tribe Called Quest, Outkast, Dr. Dre, Wu-Tang, Biggie, Kendrick, Kanye, and we agree it's not the best Kanye album that they have up there. They have College Dropout somewhere back there, and they have Late Registration somewhere back there. So they still gave him that credit. Public Enemy, they have Lauryn Hill. They have the Fugees, the Scores somewhere further back. I think
that threw me way off.
Yeah, I think the Score is a much better album than the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Yeah,
and that's just not as a hip hop head. That's just like from front to back, cover to cover. I think it's a better album.
I thought the Score was going to be in top 25. So when I saw Lauryn and not the Score, I was like, this is bugging. That's bananas.
Yeah, it did make a lot of sense to me, and this is somebody's opinion. This is a lot of people's opinion. I can tell you this is what bothers me about this fucking list. They have Biggie on there for 2 different albums. They have Tupac on this fucking list one time.
For which one? Which album?
They have All Eyes on Me. You ready?
I saw it.
All Eyes on Me is number 436. That's
bugging.
The only time they have Tupac, in my opinion, the greatest rapper of all time, back in the 500 to fucking 420 range. Yeah. And then you have a lot of trash after him. There's like, dude, there's like 6 Beastie Boy albums after that. There's like so much shit. Just so we're clear on this, I want the people to understand this. They put Tupac at 436, and somewhere closer to 1 is fucking Juvenile.
Yep.
The Back That Ass Up album, they have that whole album as better than All Eyes on Me.
Well,
that's why this list means nothing.
And that's why I put originally in the notes, Rolling Stone still don't know shit. Because for one thing, I don't think they should even rate hip hop albums anymore. You shouldn't give them the pass because they fuck it up every time.
Dude.
See, I didn't read the entire list. I started to, but the computer system was all slow. So I was like, you know what? Screw this shit. I went to the top 50. Then I skipped back and forth. I did see that Tupac's All Eyes on Me was one album of his way back. And all I can think is, where the hell is Me Against the World? If you listen to Me Against the World, lyrically and constantly and just the effort he put into really trying to raise the voice of a young black man struggling in this world, like that is better than All Eyes on Me. All Eyes on Me was straight hood gangster. I'm gonna come and get you with a lot of dope lyrics and serious shit to talk about. Mixed up 2 double album, super, super dope. When you talk about one consistent message on an album that really just kind of gets into your soul, to me, that was Me Against the World. So it's like,
from that album,
what are you judging at this point?
From that album, if I could take Shed So Many Tears and play it 14 times on repeat against the entire Juvenile album, fucking Tupac wins, bro.
Yo.
This list is trash. That's why it's just one of those.
All you have to do, and granted, I guess it's like that with Back That Ass Up, but there's at least 4, 5, 6, 10, 15 songs off All Eyes on Me that as soon as the little beat comes in, the crowd goes buck wild. All you put in is Back That Ass Up and maybe one other song off that album, and people don't know the rest. So I don't know what the hell they're talking about with that shit. So that's just bugging. That's just bugging. That's why I'm telling you, like, I can't trust them when it comes to these kind of things. And I never could. I remember having, I think, the issue that has them all listed in the issue. Now it's all online or whatever. So it's bananas, man. I don't know who gives these people the power to rate this shit. And I'm not sure who takes it serious. So I don't take it serious. When I saw it, I was like, uh-oh, I got to read what this says because I know it's going to be some bullshit.
Yeah, it was bullshit.
And so I don't think anyone really takes it that serious. But, they do. Because also, when you think about it, where the fuck was Thriller not in the top 10? Are you
Thriller, it was. They moved Thriller up. They have Bad in the top between 50 and 100, and they have Thriller in the 50 to
That's what I'm saying. Like
I think it's like top 20.
Thriller's not a top 25 album.
No, it's in like the top 20, but they
top
have
20?
Thriller in there.
I'm trying
But
to remember.
It's one of the, yeah, they have it in there. Which I mean, fuck them, their list is trash. Somebody, one of the people in this list is Eminem. Now Eminem, as you told me, created he didn't create, but he was asked,
Don't
and
call it a comeback.
he presented his top 17 in no particular order,
Mhm.
his top 17 rappers of all time. And it's something of a big deal.
I think it might be favorite rappers.
So not all time, it's his top
favorite rappers all time.
Okay. So his top favorite rappers, he has a list of 17. Real quick, shoot off the list for the people.
All right, we got in no particular order. Remember that he's not rating these top to back because we all know I think his number one is Tupac. Anyway, Lil Wayne, Tupac, Royce the 5'9", Jay-Z, Redman, Tretch, Cool G Rap, B.I.G., King Crooked, which I'm not sure who that is.
L Cool J. Crooked I, but we're not sure.
Yeah, I think it might be from a different group. Anyway, I'll have to look it up. LL Cool J, Nas, Joyner Lucas, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Andre 3000, Rakim, and Big Daddy Kane. So if you didn't catch the whole list, look it up online. It's on there.
Okay. So on that list, I mean, like we said in this song before, he goes, I'll give you my list of the order that's in. It goes Jay-Z, well, it goes Jay-Z, Nas, Jay-Z, Tupac, and Biggie, Andre from Outkast, Jada Corrupt, Nas, and Nimi, something like that. He had his list out at some point. He had Redman on there, all that stuff. So we've heard who his influences are.
Yeah.
We know who he keeps in his list. And because he's worked with so many people recently, he's added people to that list. The more Joyner Lucas I listen to, the more I like. The more Jake, I have now removed somebody from my top 5 and implanted J. Cole into it.
Okay.
In my top 10, I've removed somebody and I put in Kendrick Lamar. So it makes sense that he has these top 17, his favorites, because I mean he's been here forever. Like the times have changed. He's not gonna have a bunch of old ass rappers in his top 17 when he's worked with some new guys.
Who have come up and proven themselves.
Not only that, but they've done the thing where people talk about Kobe and Jordan, where they've taken styles and put them together and created their own, and it's been dope. In a sea full of trash, there are some bright lights out right now with like Kendrick, J. Cole, Joyner. Like I said, Earth Gang, I'm a big fan of, but there's some good rappers out there. And the fact that M is giving them some kind of shout out and props, I'm sure they absolutely fucking love it, because he is gonna go down as one of the greatest of all time. Ice-T said, quote, "Who knew the greatest to ever do this would be a white boy from Detroit?" Yeah. So it's dope that he has this top 17. It's crazy when people are like, well, why is that guy there? And who the fuck is that guy? I was watching a clip. You ready for this? Me? This dude was doing a thing for NBA 2K, and he was talking about creating a player. He created a player, and when you create a player, it says this person's style is similar to these, and they give you three examples. He created a power forward, and this is a young cat, and he's like, we got the power forward, and it was like Bojan Bogdanovic, Jason Tatum, and Charles Oakley. He was like, Jason Tatum, baby? I know who that is. I don't know these other two niggas. But Jason Tatum, he's like, I can't say the middle dude, Bojan, whatever. He goes, and I don't know what the fuck a Charles Oakley is. And I was just like,
he's young.
You don't know what Charles Oakley is, my nigga? Like, how dare
Charles Oakley was never a superstar, though.
It don't matter. If you watch basketball and you talk about power forwards, you should know who the fuck Charles Oakley is.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, so it's definitely one of those, like, what have you done for me lately? Like what Rolling Stones did. But I liked that his list spans from the 80s to like this year. Like Joyner Lucas just blew up in the last couple years. So his list spans from the mid to late 80s to right now. I like his list. I like that it's in no order. And at the end of the day, he's talking about his influences. People he likes working with. And so I fuck with Eminem's list. I like it. I would love to chop it up with him and ask like what he likes about specific, like what do you like about Joyner Lucas? What is it about Kendrick? Yeah, like what is it about J. Cole? Why'd you pick Big Daddy Kane and what song did it? You know what I mean? Like I want to hear why were these people not on? Why is Black Thought not on it? Why would you pick Andre and not Big Boy? Like I want to know like why Redman not Method Man? Like I just want to know. I just want to chop it up with him.
So King Crooked, I looked it up, is Crooked I. Two different names, but
he's a king now.
I guess he decided to say King Crooked when he said that.
He's a king now. He's
So
educated. He's
one thing I
graduated.
noticed, one thing I noticed a lot about the list that he set out, and again, he was just spewing names. He probably has another 30, 40, 50 rappers he can name that have influenced him that he likes. So my
Probably.
only thing, my thing about it though is like when it comes to Lil Wayne, I always find that suspect because I really need to know. I really need to know what is it about Lil Wayne that anyone thinks he's a great lyricist, great rapper, whatever. Because I highly disagree. But the long spanning list, 80s to 90s, I agree with you. It's super dope. Rakim, Kane, all that. L Cool J is probably one of the best rappers of all time, but he doesn't get the credit anymore because he did songs for girls and everyone threw that shit away after that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So my thing is though, I noticed that I can't even say that anymore now that I see the list more closely. I'm wondering why some people are left off, and maybe he just didn't get to them. Because my thing is, there's no real like underground cats. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, there's no Slug from Atmosphere, and granted, maybe he's not the greatest rapper of all time to him. There's nobody from like Living Legends. There's nobody from Dilated, and maybe he doesn't think they're the best rappers. There's nobody from there, and there's a lot of others. Like, to me, where's Busta Rhymes? And Busta Rhymes just dropped a new album. If you don't
I
know,
heard it. I heard
Extinction
the whole
Level
thing.
Event 2 is
I just
out,
heard it front to back.
and it's banging, and I'm promoting that. So Busta, you need to hire me because I think you owe me some money now. Anyway, I've always said it, and Sean knows this. Sean Q knows this shit. I will be your no man because you should never put out that song Fire, man. Never. Anyway, so
Fire!
so to me, when it comes to something like that, Busta Rhymes has been one of the very, very few who can flow as good as
fuck with the God Busta Rhymes.
you know, like he's one of the very few that can flow on inside a beat like M can. And again, did he leave off Black Thought because he didn't get to him yet? Did he leave off Common? Did he leave off Kweli? Did he leave off Most? Like, where's the underground love? I mean, some of these guys are underground, I guess you could say, but they all had commercial success, whether it was early on or later. They all had high commercial success. You know what I mean? Except for maybe Royce. so it's like where are these other guys that he knows are probably great rappers? Maybe he doesn't listen to them because one of those things. You know, some people don't listen to others in that way. They may listen to people before them, after them, whatever. But like DMX, he rolls around and listens to himself. So who is he competing with at that point? Yeah, so it's just I have that question. I need to ask people these things. Why is, say, Cool G Rap on your album or on your list versus like Sean Price or versus Buckshot or versus maybe KRS or something like that, something from maybe the same era, or a similar era, because there's so much. Again, maybe it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter anyway because it's his list. It's his opinions on it. I'm not going to try and change it. I just want to know. And you've told me, you've tried to influence me a little bit before about Lil Wayne, like listen to this, listen to that. And yeah, and I've heard the argument, when he's on other people's albums, he elevates. You know what? That to me is kind of a sign of like you kind of whacked in because you can't hold your own. You know what I mean? And
I don't think he's better on other people's albums. I think at the end of the day, I think there are certain forms of rap that are like there is when you talk about real shit, when you talk about your hood and where you're from, when you do shit like Eminem does because keep in mind, for every song that Eminem puts out that's dope and hard and he says some hard shit, there's a poppy fucking I'm taking pills and doing dumb shit. It's one of those songs.
Yeah.
As lyrical as it is, he has one of those songs. I think one of the main aspects, especially when it comes to like battle rapping, when it comes to catching people's ear, when it comes to getting people into rap music, one of the biggest keys is a punchline. And I think what makes Lil Wayne in people's top 10, what puts him there is if you listen to it, Lil Wayne has some really, really, really good put together punchlines. Whether he doesn't have to be talking about where he's from when he talks about he's from the South. He doesn't have to talk about Katrina, which he does. Some of his punchlines, he has a lot of songs where it's like bam, bam, punchline, punchline, punchline. You're like, oh shit, and it's a lot of synonyms, and it's a lot of she's like this, like a menstrual, I bleed. Like nobody says that shit. You know what I mean? Like he says it in a very small part of a full verse that's written. You were like, okay, you know what? If you are somebody like Eminem who dissects lyrics and breaks down entire lyrics. And you go,
Mm-hmm.
that was so dope, it could have been a hook. And now you take that plus that plus that plus that. That's one verse on one song out of an entire catalog that's 38 albums long. And that's what Eminem does. And
Yeah.
I listen, when I listen to Lil Wayne, I hear what he says. I'm like, you know what? Those 4 parts right there could have been one of these new niggas' entire song. And they would have
Yeah.
repeated that punchline over and over. He used it as a quick part for a setup to another part to another part. It's the lyricism that Eminem is appreciating. And he does it on Shade 45 when he's on there. He'll break down songs and break
Yeah.
down lyrics. He said his favorite part about Tupac, the thing that he loves about Tupac that nobody was doing at the time, is he would say when you listen to a song, you're like, Tupac went picture perfect. I painted a perfect picture. And he was like, you put when you hit that, the way you're hitting that on the beat, nobody was doing that. And we take advantage of that. But if you're a lyricist and you have to write some shit like that, you're like, fuck, that was genius.
Yeah.
Fuck, why didn't I think of that? How can I make my notes hit like that and the music, the words I say hit on the beat so it does it like this and pop, 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 pop. I've just become a bigger fan of J. Cole because I just heard a song with him and JID, and he did a Busta Rhymes to where he hit his notes on the beat perfectly. There was no miscues, no fuck ups, and everything he said makes sense.
Nice.
It's not only hard as shit to hit those notes on that beat, but to make them make sense is borderline impossible. And only a few fucking artists can do that. And that's why J. Cole is in a lot of people's top 5, top 10, because you're like, fuck, not only did he do it, he said some shit. Not only did Busta Rhymes do this, but he said some shit. Not only did Black Thought do it, he said some shit. Fuck, Andre just said some of the dopest shit ever in passing, and it hit the beat perfectly. Yeah. It's hard to do both. So I feel like that's why Wayne's on a lot of people's list. Which, if we're gonna carry on with Lil Wayne,
hold on. That's gonna have to be after break. I know where you're going. That's gonna have to be after break. We have to take a break. We should take a break. Okay. So we can breathe about the next one, because the thing is, when it comes to M, for one, he went platinum again. Murdered music to be murdered by. He's platinum one more time. All right. So M, I understand it. He's the consummate, ultimate lyricist. He knows how to piece it together, so he knows how to break it down. No one else has ever put songs and rhythms together like he does. There's a lot of people who do another way of doing it very, very well. I love Black Thought's style and the way he puts together some rhymes. Love it. And a lot of other people. That's super dope that the J. Cole hit that, because that is very hard to do. I didn't realize that's why maybe he liked Tupac so much, but I guess in my own way I understood that's what Tupac did, because that's actually kind of how I groove to a song. I groove to the bump of the lyrics versus the bump of the song. And you know that, because you're always like, why are you so offbeat? It's more because I'm going towards the lyrics than I am the beat. And, you know, a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people can't do that. So, you know, and I just kind of do it naturally because I'm just good like that. Anyway, so we should probably take a break, though, because we talked a lot about Eminem and some other stuff. And
before we go into a break, real quick, Eminem just made history again. That's what he does. He is the first rapper, and probably will be the only one, to ever go platinum in 4 different decades.
Oh, damn! Wait.
Yeah, oh, wow. I did what you're doing right now. Yeah, first rapper to go platinum in 4 decades.
4 decades. That's not even like rapper. I was gonna say, wait, Rolling Stones and
rapper. First rapper. That's why we put Eminem in the regard we put him in, because he's the first one to ever do that. He's still doing it. So we're gonna take a break. We'll be right back. Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. I heard Brenda's got a baby, but Brenda's barely got a brain. See what he did with the bees? Brenda's got a baby. Brenda's barely got a brain. Like shit like that. Nobody was doing that. And when he wrote it,
so from what I understand, especially when he did the Paint of Perfect Pictures, he basically changed the lyrics of Peter Piper Picked the Pepper. Because he was a trained actor, so he kind of understood the you know, and the projection. So that's pretty dope to even think about why he was able and so good at what he does, because he really understood how to have that effect.
That cadence in his voice, like every time you think Snoop, when you say you're rapping right now, spell out Snoop. Even Snoop goes SNOOP. Like that's how people do it. The way Tupac said it, nobody's ever said it before and hasn't said it since.
Mhm.
He goes SNOOP. Just some cold ass niggas on him. Like he spelled it out, but it hit
Yeah.
his cadence perfect with the SNOOP. Just some cold ass nigga on them hoes. It
Yeah.
was crazy. Like just certain cadences and shit he would do was just different to me.
Yeah.
So we're talking about what's happening with music and
And
somewhat
Wheezy, baby.
politics. Weezy F baby, and the F is for fuck is wrong with you? Why you backing Donald Trump? Now, mind you, I know that Lil Wayne was on The Apprentice at one point, and at that point, him and Trump became friends, I guess, or whatever. I don't know. But Lil Wayne went out and he's one of these dudes during this campaign. The reason why we're about to tell you the stuff we're about to tell you is because we want you to pay attention. I believe it was Whoopi Goldberg in Sister Act 2 who said, if you want to be somebody and you want to go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. Pay attention to these motherfuckers. Lil Wayne, full on Trump supporter. He's like, I support everything Trump does. He was speaking on his behalf, and then his lady may have or may not have dumped this nigga because of it.
I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yes. So these rapper in 2020, which has been the biggest election for a long time, a lot of rappers who were being quiet and keeping themselves have been put in the forefront because I don't know, quarantine made them bored. And they were like, let me go ahead and run my mouth and pick this candidate. So like 2 Chainz was prepping. I'm sorry, he was giving props to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. We know that Eminem is a full-on Trump hater. Like everybody knows Eminem hates Donald Trump. Has for years. That hasn't changed. He even put out an Instagram post that endorsed Biden because I think he'll endorse anybody that's against fucking Trump.
Well, anybody that's like he was against Bush. Remember that? It's
Yeah,
just he's against pieces of shit that try to hold other humans down because of basis of their skin color.
right. So there's a thing that's been happening online where there were 3 rappers who were let's say, important rappers, because I'm gonna mention a non-important rapper right now. Lil Pump, Lil Pimp, Lil Pump named Snitchy. Where the fuck his name is, Lil Rainbow Bright. This little punk ass snitch, who even Donald Trump was like Lil Pimp, and this little punk ass still got up and
I heard the tape. Like, you gotta be kidding me! Oh my gosh, little.
This dude should be in jail right now, getting fucked in a bunch of different angles, but he's not.
Oh,
So instead,
wow.
he's out. Instead, he's out at Trump rallies supporting Donald Trump. Fuck that dude. I'm not even gonna talk about that dude. Rappers that matter. So Ice Cube, there was a big thing about Ice Cube.
Yes.
For a while, people were like, so I heard that Ice Cube is supporting Trump. I don't know if you saw the picture. There's like a picture of Ice Cube and 50 Cent on a basketball court wearing Trump hats, which is fucking Photoshop, but it doesn't matter. So the thing that happened with Ice Cube, do you want to explain to people what happened with Ice Cube?
I could a little bit. I've watched at least 2 interviews and heard a couple interviews about it. So here's the thing. There's a plan that Ice Cube is helping and has been helping to put together to help raise the quality of life for Black people in America. It's a contract with America he's trying to create. He put this out there as he wants to work with people. So the Trump campaign and the Biden campaign spoke to him. Now the Biden campaign is saying basically, we can't really do anything until after. So let's talk after the election. They're trying to be very focused on getting their thing done. Trump campaign is like, let me see what you got right now. Because of course, everything Trump does is about his image. And if he can say, oh, I just left the room with Ice Cube and we put something together, which is exactly what he started to say, then he thinks that's going to win people over because people are that stupid. So the plan that he has is not completely his. It's not completely Ice Cube's, right? The contract with America. He's helping to put it together, though, which is great. Trump has something called the Platinum Plan, which reminds me of every time someone who is completely clueless about the culture of hip-hop or what Black people are about, they throw some kind of monetary statement or comment or value or symbol on it, the Platinum Plan. Because, you know, everything about gold, I mean, everything about Trump Towers on is gold this, gold that. So he's always been like the rapper's dream back in the day. Like, ooh, I want to be like Trump. I mean, his name is in tons of songs, including Only Built for Cuban Links. You know what I mean? So it's like, or I mean, on that album. So it's no surprise, but he's completely clueless. He's trying to win the vote. So when he got the chance to meet with Ice Cube, he comes out and he says, "Oh, me and Ice Cube are working together, and this and that." And Ice Cube, twisted face and all, I was like, "What the fuck?" You know, pretty much like, what's this guy talking about? But he had to come out and defend himself left and right. And as soon as I saw the first interview, on the notes you could see it's kind of sporadic, but I just started typing note everything that Ice Cube said, and he told us, and that's what he told us. Trump reached out and said, "Hey, let's do this. Let's take a look at what you got going on." But he didn't really work with them. But Ice Cube's point is, I got to try and work with somebody, and I need to work with the person who is in power. So if I can get anything from him, let me see what I can do. So
Right.
people are thinking, okay, that's not the right way to go about it. My thing about it is you got to always be very careful who you align yourself with, because somebody like Trump, yes, is going to use it for his political benefit. It thinks it's going to win him over, get him over the tide of, the average amount of people who vote for him when I'm black men who vote for him. And he got the same about average thing that all these presidents have gotten recently. So it's no surprise that Trump did it. I'm just surprised that I understand where Ice Cube's coming from, but I was surprised that he even did it, because he knows how Trump is. Like, he understands it. He sees what it is. And he knows that Trump would not actually really do anything. This platinum plan is all talk. It's all talk. It doesn't mean jack shit. Just like all these other plans. Oh, it'll come in 2 weeks. It'll come in this. It'll come in that. It doesn't mean jack shit. All right. So a big piece of it, though, is Ice Cube wants the redistribution of wealth. That's the biggest thing of the plan. He wants black people to gain more wealth, therefore gaining more, respect and more power in society.
More of a standing in the country, right?
Exactly, because without the money, you ain't shit. And this president has definitely shown you that. So I mean, it's like he wants to have a contract so that black people can get more, because that's why they keep getting held out of shit. Because if you give them more money and more power that you can't take away, then they have more say so.
Right.
And white people don't want them to have more say so, as it's shown in I wouldn't say surprising, but disappointing amount of people who still want to endorse racism in this last election. We're still trying to decide who the damn president is. So half the country wants to keep this asshole in office, which doesn't make any sense, because they don't want progress. They don't want the country to move forward. They don't want black people to have more. You know what I mean? They want to be able to hold down what they have, and so they're endorsing, more racism to just keep coming, unhinged. You know what I mean? And that's not cool. So when it comes to, the thing with Ice Cube, he doesn't care what side you're on. He just wants something to get done.
Right.
And I want Ice Cube to be, and he's angry. He's always angry, which I like. But I want him to be angry like in the film. Walk up into the White House, just busting shit down. You know what I mean? Granted, he'll get taken down by Secret Service, so he can't do that. But you know what I mean? Like, I want that Ice Cube. I want him to throw shit. I want him to throw the desk like the Jersey housewife. You know what I mean? Like, I want him to just rip shit. But obviously he can't do that in the White House in that kind of setting. It's not going to get you anywhere. But I appreciate the effort. But you just can't align yourself with someone like that, because you're working with the devil at that point. They're always going to take their pound of flesh. You know what I mean? Always.
Well, it's on one side. I feel like it's a timing thing. I feel like he should have waited. He should have waited to see who became president and then had a meeting with that person. Because
I'm sorry. Finish what you're saying.
No, because then it seems like then that person, like you said, somebody like Trump can use it as part of their campaign strategy to be like, oh, cool. Hey, look, Ice Cube likes us. You guys like Ice Cube. Hey, you guys like the guy from Boys in the Hood. He likes me. We talk.
So a big thing about the timing thing is Ice Cube's point is, we're tired of waiting. We can't wait anymore. Like, this is it. Which I've heard that point actually over and over and over. Granted, right now it was just a little bit bad timing, because it was in October all this going down. So maybe wait till November, because even in November, December, it may be a new regime. It may not be. Either way, you'll talk to somebody. But my thing is, like, you're right. We're tired of waiting. We're tired of waiting for human rights to not have suppressed votes, to have better healthcare, to have better ways of living, better quality of life, better wealth to be able to distribute to our family. I mean, we're tired of waiting for that shit. And that's one thing I really hope that when it comes to whoever gets in office next, and if it is Biden and Harris, we cannot rest. We cannot rest on Black Lives Matter. We cannot rest on Latino Lives Matter. We cannot rest on asking for what we want and what we need. We have to just keep going hard. And a lot of people are going to kind of rest, like, oh, things are going to go back to normal. No, no, no. Fuck normal. We're not trying to get back to normal. We're trying to get ahead. And we have to not rest. We have to keep going. And it's going to be really, really difficult because people relaxed in the Obama years. While the white people were gearing up to have this shit happen in 2016, and granted, they didn't think it would, but they worked hard to make it happen. People kind of chilled out. There was an apathy in the last vote where people didn't vote. And because so many people didn't vote, it let someone like Trump gain a lot of these votes because these young white, non-educated whites, males, voted for him, who actually didn't vote for him as much this time. But so the lack of the turnout, because like, oh, things are chill, it's not going to actually happen. Obviously, that was a wake-up call. So we got to stay on point. Here's the problem. We got to be on our toes all the time. So we're going to be more exhausted than ever. That's why I was up at the start of the episode like this, because it's like, I can't take it anymore. I'm done. Like, I'm spent. You know what I mean?
But you want change. You got to put in that work. We got to put in that effort. One of the people, another rapper, 50 Cent originally said he was voting for Trump because he didn't want to pay more taxes. And then his ex, white lady, Chelsea Handler, was like, "Are you fucking stupid, bro? Over a couple of dollars? I'll give you a couple of dollars, my nigga." And then 50 was like,
"I so wish it was actually like that. I so wish it was."
In my mind, that's how the convo went. He's like, "For real, my nigga, you gonna support Trump over a couple dollars?" And he was like, "Yeah, you know, you're right. Yeah, you're right. AKA Ferrari F50. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry." And then he changed his mind, but he was one of them. It was Rich the Kid. Was one of the dudes who exposed the Trump campaign. Was like, Trump's campaign reached out to a lot of rappers and was like, "Hey, we'll give you we'll get you a private jet. You can come out, you can do meet and greets with other billionaires. Do you want to hey, little rapping Negroes, you guys want to hang out with some rich billionaires? All you have to do is take a couple of photos, say you're pro-Trump, and then we'll get you whatever you want." Rich the Kid was like, no, I'm good. He tried to do the old candy in the van trick. "Hey, kid, you want candy?"
That's exactly what I was thinking about. Yo, come in the house. We got some things for you to eat. We just gotta hang out.
You want to get the bike in the van?
Yo, that reminds me. Have you watched the show Woke? There's an episode about something similar to that. So okay, so I haven't finished it, but there's an episode similar to that. It's like, yo, I didn't realize that was a thing. I mean, I should have realized it. I just never thought of it. But now it's so blatantly in our face that this is happening, that these people are getting courted and paid just to be that entertainment piece for a group of white people. And as like the only one in there as the entertainment piece. Not like it's a whole team of black people. It's one person.
Yeah. I know what episode you're talking about when he was like, "Am I the token black artist here for this?" And they're like,
"Yes,
draws cartoons. Would you like to talk to him?" And they just ask him all kinds of black questions about black people. He's the token. Yeah, that happens. That's a real thing that happens in real life. And the Trump administration was trying to do that.
And my thing with him trying to, with rappers even trying to think about endorsing Trump is like, it doesn't make any sense because he technically actually wants your vote suppressed, unless you're going to vote for him, of course. I didn't actually think voter suppression was as big of an issue as it is until this year. I know it happened in 2016. I know it happened every year. But wow, man, the stories out there are bananas. And anyone who hasn't heard, need to look them up. Voter suppression issues around the country, 2020 election. The amount of crap coming up is nuts. But it is definitely a real thing.
The reason why we brought this up is because, like I said in the beginning, we want you to pay attention to these things. Because regardless of who becomes president, regardless of what happens in 2021, which, by the way, don't think that January 1st, 2021, the fucking sun's going to come out, double rainbows are going to hit. It's going to be all fucking lollipops and shit. It's still going to be a struggle. The world is different now.
The masks come off, throw them in the air.
Right? You know? If you are imagining January 1st, 2021, like the end of The Wiz, where all the black people were taking it, "Can you feel a brand new day?" That shit's not happening. It's not going down like that.
Damn. Thanks for any hope left.
Yeah, it's not going to be like that. There's still a lot of work to be done, and it's going to be different. The world's been changed forever. It's not going to be the same. So don't forget these people. Remember, next time there's an event that's happening and there's a Black Lives Matter rally or there's some kind of event and somebody important passes away, remember these people who were standing next to Donald Trump, who were telling their fans, "Go fuck yourself. I'm with this dude because he's trying to get me paid." Remember these people.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Mufasa said it best. Remember.
So we got to get into this after now that since we talked about these assholes, we got to talk about these people that Trump tried to go after a little bit
Let's
because
do it
that
quickly.
shit
Let's get to
that shit was insane. So the biggest thing was he tried to disrespect Beyonce. Okay, let's make this very very clear, people. And if you don't know, now you're going to know. Beyonce is the number one female artist in the world. I don't give a shit who you think they
I
are.
think she's the number one
Taylor
artist.
Swift,
I think she's the number one
Taylor
artist,
Swift. You
not
know,
just female.
I'm just gonna keep saying Taylor Swift because everyone thinks she's all hot shit. You know, whoever else. Beyonce's the number one. She's Queen Bee for a reason. So when you come out and you want to be disrespectful, Mr. Piece of Shit, Donald Jackass Trump, yes, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna disrespect your name. You want to say something like Beyonce, whatever, just like that asshole did Kamala Mala Mala, you know. All right, asshole, we got you. Okay, because as soon as he did that, after of course Beyonce put a little Biden hat on in a post, the Beehive got his ass. Okay, so you're talking about hundreds of millions of people, fans that just flooded Trump, you know, with real Donald Trump, I hate you, you piece of shit, whatever this crap like that, which is fantastic. But my thing is like, oh, you want to get brave the last couple of days. You want to talk about LeBron, you want to talk about Beyonce, you want to talk about Jay-Z because you think you have these other rappers in your corner. Which my thing is also now, is Eminem cool with Lil Wayne being a Trump supporter? Because
No,
I don't think.
that beef has started actually.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, so
Yeah,
so
that beef
let's have that
started.
beef. Let's do this. So
Yeah.
you know, like that shit ain't cool. You out Shade 45 forever. So it's one of those things like, okay, so now you got some balls because you weren't talking about them before. You didn't bring them up because you know what? You can't handle a year of someone like Beyonce saying fuck Trump. You wouldn't be able to handle that because you know what? These little white ladies in these other states that want to stay racist, they still listen to Beyonce. And you know what their daughters do? Their daughters bounce to Beyonce. And they go, to Beyonce. They shake like Beyonce. They want to do all that shit like Beyonce. Just like they always want to do. Steal the culture, but don't appreciate the people. You know what I mean? That's how they want to do. Shit.
So, if I may, so all you rappers out there, and all you hip hop fans who are fans of Scarface and treat Scarface like it's your fucking mantra, like it's the greatest movie ever made, I want you to imagine Donald Trump is Tony Montana, and he says what Donald Trump said to Beyonce is Tony Montana talking when he goes, "Fuck the Diaz brothers, Sosa, fuck Sosa. I don't give a fuck about Sosa." Remember how that ended for Tony Montana? Did that go well for Tony? Didn't work out for Tony, did it? You fucking with Queen Bee, dude. When I talk about Beyonce, I talk about Beyonce the way Muslims talk about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Listen, the Honorable Queen Beyonce knows Carter. Listen, if I could
Yo, don't fuck around, man.
You can't, dude, because the Beehive that's some real shit. You think Donald Trump? You think you got fanatics? The Beehive is not some fucking. They're fanatics. Like
you talked about it before, yeah.
They are dedicating their lives to making sure you don't talk shit about their queen. They don't play that shit. And they're not listening. They're not like you good old boys. They're not, oh, we're going to get our weapons. No, they fuck with you psychologically. They'll fuck your Twitter up and your Facebook up. You can't even post pictures of your kids because they'll destroy your kids and have your kids having fucking fights at school because they want to shit about the Beehive. They take that shit serious. I don't fuck with the Beehive, man. Hey, listen,
no,
the honorable,
I do not.
The Honorable Queen Beyonce knows Carter. No disrespect. I love you. I love everything about you. I've always been a fan. In my opinion, still you're the best rapper in your household. I stand by that.
So stupid.
So here's a question that we have. When you put together, because this has been a big year for politics, it's been a big year for rappers and politics. How does stuff like this affect people's personal top fives? If you've never seen the movie Top 5, it's with Chris Rock, Rosario Dawson, fucking Tracy Morgan. Everybody's in this movie. Adam Sandler, Whoopi Goldberg, Jerry Seinfeld. DMX. It's one of the movie is it's a weird movie. It's kind of funny, but in the movie, Chris Rock's theme is to ask everybody who's in your top 5, and he's talking about hip hop. Who's your top 5? Even at the end, Jerry Seinfeld says his, which is funny to me. But how do people's politics, and stuff outside of their music affect your top 10 and top 5? I say that because so many people have sent to me on Instagram and on Facebook and on Twitter, like, hey, yo, guess who just fell out of my top 5? Because of what they did. So many people have been like, yo, I like Lil Wayne. He was in my top 5. The minute he starts supporting Trump, he's out of my top 5. So I'm curious to know how people's politics and stuff outside of their music affects how you grade them. And I bring that up to say this. I scroll, maybe I missed it. I doubt it. But I scrolled through the Rolling Stones top 500 albums, and I didn't see one R. Kelly album in there. Now, R. Kelly is the highest selling R&B artist of all time, which means some of his albums have to be dope. They are considered great albums. So, was he taken out or not put in because of what's happened outside of his music? And if that's the case, are there artists that you have taken out of your top 5 because of their outside politics, because of stuff they did that doesn't have to do with their music? I really want to know this. I want y'all to hit us up on Instagram and let me know. Be like, yo, this was my top 5. This person got pulled out because of this. This person was in my top 10. They got pulled out because of this. I really want to know this. I'm very curious about this because I felt a certain way about R. Kelly. I'm from Chicago. A lot of us knew R. Kelly was a piece of shit. But D.L. Hughley said it best. He goes, I still listen to R. Kelly. And I still watch The Cosby Show and shit like that because I can separate the man from his craft. I can separate what he does in his personal life from his work. Just like we listen to the national anthem, which was built around, there's a whole verse in there about slaves and hating on niggas, but people still stand and put their fucking hand on their heart and they salute that shit, not realizing what that song was originally created for, which means they're separating the person who wrote it and what it was originally written for from what it stands for. So I want to know, has somebody been taken out of your top 5 because of these politics in 2020? If so, hit us up. Let me know who. We will chop this up on the next episode. I'm very curious. Hit us up on Instagram, Old School Perspective. Let me know this person got pulled from my top 5 because of this. I really want to know about that. I'm very curious about that. Are you curious about it at all, Jay Roman?
I am to a point because when it comes to it, like the reason Kanye wouldn't be in mine, like he wouldn't have a top 10 album in mine, even though he should, is because since I don't listen to him anymore, I can't compare his side by side with another one to then decide, okay, do I do this? Do I go this way, that way? Which one do I bump harder? Right. So because he's now out of mind and out of sight in that way, he won't make it. But if he ever comes back to the table and gets right and it's like, oh, I was completely crazy, for endorsing Trump, then I might give it another chance because, the guy's kind of off his rails right now, which I understand it could be whatever it is. So I can't hate on him for that. I try to appreciate the music. Don't get me wrong. There's the song that comes on here and there, and I'm like, okay, it's Kanye, I'll bump it, whatever. And I gotta say, I miss those albums. I miss listening to them. Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, yo, I used to rock that album in my car, but it's just, so it does change it for me. You know what I mean? Like if Ice Cube was to be a Trump supporter, I'm like, oh shit, that's a wrap. Like right. And all the albums I have, like you completely going against all your own albums and stuff like that. So, it'd be similar.
I want to know. Hit us up. Let's do real quick. Let's do our what the shit. Our what the shit is gonna stay on the hip hop topic. So this nigga T.I.
Like TIP, right?
T.I. I don't know if it was T.I. or TIP because they're both two different people.
No. TIP is the same person. His actual name is okay.
No,
so what are you talking about? Just go ahead.
T.I. versus TIP is an album. It's like saying Humpty versus fucking
Gotcha.
Doc G. It's the same dude.
I know.
I'm curious to know which one of these motherfuckers said this dumb shit. They asked him, you're about to start doing tours, you're doing shows and shit like that. And what happens? Didn't your wife Tiny get COVID? How do you feel like you don't have COVID? And he said, why can I not do this without laughing? He said, oh, even if she got it, I mean, I avoid it because what I do is I drink warm liquids and warm liquids kill COVID-19.
Oh so you know what? That's why I'm immune because I drink coffee like crazy, hot coffee. I drink hot coffee in the hot summertime.
So coffee drinkers, tea drinkers, people who drink warm water, you have no fear of catching COVID according to T.I. You're beating it. You're doing your job. According to T.I., you're doing all you have to do to beat COVID-19. You want to beat coronavirus? Drink some hot water today. Just once. You'll flush it out. and it flushes it all down, and then you'll shit out coronavirus and piss it out, and you'll be good, according to doctors, scientists, Professor Ti or Tip, whichever one said that dumb shit. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's our what the shit, and we're just gonna leave it at that. We're gonna get up out of your face. We've been taking up a lot of your time. We appreciate y'all. Seriously, go on Instagram, go on Facebook, go on Twitter. Hit us up. Let us know if somebody has been moved out of your top 5 because of something that happened in 2020. We really want to know about it. We'll repost it. We'll put it out to the people. Till next time, I'm Sean Q. Be smart.
Jay Roman, we out.
Keep it old school.